Hi everyone, welcome back. Today I'm going to teach you how to read a file, write to a file, and append to a file using Python. So I created a folder, and inside this folder I created an empty file. So I'm just going to write something basic inside the file, and I'm going to show you how we can access this file and read it using Python. So I'm going to just type I am a boy, and I'll save that, and then I'll go to my code editor. I'm using Visual Studio Code, and inside Visual Studio Code I open that folder inside my Visual Studio Code, so we can see the test file.txt here. So how exactly can we read this file using Python? The first thing that we're going to do is that we're going to get the file path to this particular file. So I'm going to declare a variable, and I'm going to call this variable file path, and I'm going to say file path is equal to, when I've done that, I'll just come over to this icon over here, then copy the file path to this test file.txt. I'll click copy path, and what I'll do is I'm going to explain what I'm doing now, and then boom. The reason why I put this R is because we wanted to read it as a raw string. If we remove the R, it's just going to read it as a normal string, and when we run the program, it's going to print an error. So when we put R here, we're telling Python that we should read it as a raw string. Notice what happens when I remove the R. If I remove the R, you see everything turns green, but when I put it back, it turns blue. So Python is going to read it as a raw string, so it won't throw any error here. So now we want to actually know what is inside the content of this file without actually opening the file. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to declare another variable. We're going to name it read file. We'll say read file is equal to open file path, comma R. So what we did here is that we are telling Python that, okay, open this file path and put it in read mode. There are a few modes that we can put. There is read mode, there is write mode, there is append mode. I'm going to explain append and write mode after read mode. So now we are telling Python that, okay, open this file. Since we are given the file path, open it, then put it in read mode. So when we now do that, we're now going to declare another variable. We'll say print read file. We'll say print read file is equal to read file dot read. So what this does is that we are telling Python that, okay, this read file here, open it. Once you've opened it, read all the contents inside that file. So when we have done that, we're not just going to say print, we'll say print read file. So this is just going to print everything inside the file. Now if we run this, you are going to see that the content of the file is going to be printed out in the terminal. It's going to be printed out exactly. You can see I am a boy written out in the terminal. So I'm going to go over it again. We first created a variable and put the file path. We assigned the file path to the variable. The next thing we did was we created another variable and we opened the file path and put it in read mode. The next thing we did was that we now used the file path that we created here. When we opened it, we now did .read. That is, we're telling Python that, okay, after you have opened it and put the file in read mode, I want you to go into the file and read everything inside the file. Then here, after it's read everything inside the file, here we now told you to print everything that is read. So that is what is here. I am a boy. Now the next mode is the write mode. Now what the write mode does is that it goes into a file and automatically writes into the file whatever you tell it to write. And while writing everything into the file, if it had any content inside the file before, it's going to clear everything inside the file and write in the new content. Now I'm going to explain that. So inside the file, we know that okay, I am a boy is written inside. But if I put this in write mode, which is W, I'm not going to say read file. We're no longer going to say dot read. We're going to say dot write. And then I'm just going to write a string. I'm going to say I am a young boy. So we're telling Python that okay, put this file path, put it in write mode, and write this particular string, write I am a boy into the file. Now this is going to override the content of the file. That is, it's going to enter the file, delete everything inside, and write in the new contents that you want to write into the file. Then if we run this, it's going to automatically go into the file, delete everything inside the file, and then it's going to write in I am a young boy into the file. So once we now go to the file and check for the contents of this file, you are going to see what will be written inside there. You can see I am a young boy written inside there. Before, I am a boy was written inside, but it has already come and it has overwritten everything that was written inside before and put I am a young boy there. So that is what write does. Write overrides everything inside the file and adds a new file into it, and adds a new string into it. But if there was nothing inside the file before, it's still going to go ahead and write whatever you want to write to the file. It's going to write it into the file. Now what if you don't want to overwrite a file? What if you just want to add some contents to the file? This is where the append mode comes in. Now we know that we've talked about the read mode, we've talked about the write mode. The next mode is the append mode. If you now want to add something to a file, if you don't want to overwrite it, you simply put it in append mode. Now I'm going to say I want to append some text to it. I want to append I am 17 years old. I want to add a new line and say I am 17 years old, but I don't want this to override everything inside that other file, inside the main file. I want to just add this string to what is inside the file. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put this in append mode. Then we're now going to say read file dot write. We're also using the dot write. So I'm going to say dot write I am 17 years old. But the problem with this is that if we run this program, it's going to put everything side by side. I'm going to show you what I mean. Now if I run this, it's going to automatically write this one into the file, and you'll see how it will look like. We're going to have a slight problem, and I'll explain how to solve it. Okay, so yes, now that it has finished running, if we go to the file and we open it, you would see that everything has been joined together. See, I am a boy, I am 17 years old. There was no spacing beside it at all. What the append mode does that, it just goes there and adds the new content to where the last content stopped. So wherever the last content stops, it's just going to go there and paste whatever you want to add to it right from where the last content stopped. Now there is a way to make it go to a new line, and that is what I'm going to show you now. I'm going to just copy this backslash. Okay, I'll copy this backslash, and I'm going to come here in front, Ctrl V then N. What this does is that we're telling Python that okay, when you go into the file, add a new line, then write I am 17 years old. So I'm going to show you now. I'll just do CLS to clear everything here, and then once we run it, it's going to go into the file, create a new line. Then after that new line, it's now going to write I am 17 years old instead of just packing everything together inside one straight line. Now if we go there, if we go to the file and we open it, you are going to see that there is a new line instead of before where it just packed everything together. It's just, instead of before when it's packed everything together, this time it's created a new line because we put this \n. That means we're telling it to create a new line. So it's created a new line, then appended I am 17 years old to the file. So you've learned how to use the write mode, the read mode, and the append mode. Thank you for watching this video, guys. If you liked this video and it was helpful, please help me hit the like button, subscribe, and share with your friends. And in the next video, we're going to be talking about how to create files and folders using Python. Stay tuned. Peace.